You know, looking to the past can sometimes pave the way for the future. What's good, everybody? My name is Valor, and welcome back to Valtech Armory. And this is the Foam Hill Blaster by AnUndeadDude on Thingiverse. This is a semi-auto flywheel blaster that uses a P90-ish style magazine, or more accurately, a Hill SMG style magazine. Now, you might be asking, Valor, what is a Hill SMG? Well, if you have never seen Forgotten Weapons, I highly recommend it. Go give them a watch. But the Hill SMG was a sort of prototype that was never fully produced of a new type of submachine gun that was meant to be more compact for the US military and stuff. The core mechanics of which were further developed by Fabrique Nationale to become what is now known today as the FN P90. Which, if you've seen my channel, you know that I like the P90. And this blaster actually uses a very similar sort of turntable mechanism inside to take a dart from being perpendicular to being parallel with the barrel system to be able to fire. Now, it's a little bit difficult to show this, but you can see that black turntable looking thing inside there that whenever I pull the trigger slightly, it actually rotates towards the front, and at the end of the trigger pull, you'll hear a little click. And that's the pusher inside the blaster flicking forward. Rather than using a straight linear pusher, it actually uses just a little sort of flippy arm on a spring, which surprises me how mechanically simple this thing is internally. It's just a lot of sort of kind of ledges and everything to get the timing just right for this. There's about 3, maybe 4 springs inside this. I can't remember exactly how many I used, but it was not that difficult of a build. Now, the magazine for this thing is quite unique. The original prototypes for this blaster were actually modified talons, but it is a lot cheaper to just make a printed magazine that uses a drum spring from foamblast.com. You'll notice that there are effectively 2 sets of openings on the magazine. This first one is where it actually goes down into the blaster, and then this top one is sort of where the whole the roller system that is inside the blaster as well as on the magazine will actually cause the darts to push downwards towards the turntable. And that little gap there means it's easy to load darts into this magazine, though you could easily load it from this side. Though I find it easier to just kind of push darts down into it, into the retaining lips. This mag holds 15 darts, and you do want to pay attention to how you load them, because as a flywheel blaster, you might end up into some jamming issues if you load your darts backwards. The easiest way to tell the orientation of your darts is to just pay attention to these this diamond kind of pattern here. That is where you want the front end of the darts to be. Another easy way would just be to print the magazine half and half in 2 different colors. I just went for a solid black because I was going for a nice sort of green and black color scheme on the blaster, but it would be very easy to print one half of it in a translucent, clear PETG or something, so you could easily tell how much ammo you have in the magazine, which the original magazines for the Hill submachine gun were actually fully clear. And loading of this blaster is quite simple. You simply take the magazine, lay it flat, and then push it forward, and then it will just lock into place. There is a button on this other side which allows you to drop. I've noticed that sometimes it will overextend, but that might just be my copy of this. But after some firing and stuff, it will sort of loosen up with the vibrations of the motors, and you will be able to just drop the magazine free. It does help to drop the mag free whenever you're actually fully empty. Since I had a few darts in there for demonstration purposes, it sort of wanted to hold on in the turntable mechanism. But with a fully empty mag now, it's pretty easy to just bump that button with your thumb. I do wish it were a little bit bigger, but that's an easy thing to fix just by making a larger piece that maybe glues onto the outside, or, attaches with a screw or something. But hitting it with your thumb is not an issue, or you could even just, if you're like me, you can just kind of grab it like this with your thumb hitting that button, and then you can pull, because I personally don't like letting my mags hit the ground in the workshop, especially if I'm using a printed magazine. These things can shatter because of PLA being a little bit on the brittle side hitting concrete. Now, in terms of performance, this thing is okay. It's designed to just use hurricane wheels, though I know that you could probably fit some Pulsars or Keplers in there. I'm currently using some revamps in here, and I'm running them on 3S, so that gives me around 80, 90, sometimes 100 FPS, which is perfect for like an HVZ game or something. But it can be an issue if you're trying to get something even more sort of impressive. Though I don't really think that's the kind of point of this blaster, because the whole point is the mechanism being a way to actually have a P90 style magazine in a blaster without having darts get all crushed up, which this thing does not like worn darts that much. I tend to run fresh darts mostly, but even with the worn darts, it does feed okay. The only real downside of this blaster is the fact that the accuracy is not great, and I'm going to demonstrate that right now. All right, have the Foam Hill beta unit. Got the mag loaded up, so we're about 30 feet away. Gonna aim for that sign on the tree, and you'll see how accurate this thing is. It's a beta unit, so it doesn't have all the final tweaks and anything, and it's not been worked on for a while, but I already have some ideas for how to fix the issue that you're going to see here in a second. But yeah, let's go. We saw there was a lot of horizontal spread, and that's because, if I can pop this front plate off, there's no real guide at the opening of this cage. So an ideal sort of fix to that would be just a new black plate there that can have a more consistent dart guide, a little bit more snug and everything. You will lose some FPS, but you'll gain a lot in accuracy. So I feel that's a worthy trade-off for something like this, as more of a sidearm sort of thing. But yeah, let's get back into the workshop. But yeah, like I said just a second ago, it really needs that dart guide on the front of the cage. It can be fine with not having that much of a guide on the back, but it really does need that guide barrel, at least, you know, maybe a centimeter or so, just to make sure the darts don't go left and right, just because of the nature of flywheels. And flywheels on this are horizontal. And just to the nature of it sort of turning and then flipping forward, sometimes the dart can be misaligned left and right, which can cause inaccuracies as well. The barrel will definitely help with that though. But again, the biggest draw of this blaster is the mechanism. The fact that we have now a P90 style sort of mechanism for a blaster that uses flywheels, whatever. It wouldn't be that hard to rework this mechanism into something else, though it will like need a taller turntable or something. I kind of want to try making my own sort of bigger, you know, rifle configuration or something, or maybe I will just make a P90-ish style blaster using this sort of this core mechanism, because this whole shell thing is just built around the core sort of mechanism box. As long as you have the core box and everything, as well as a way to hold a magazine in, which you could easily make a longer magazine for this thing. You could easily make a brand new shell for this and make it look completely different, but still have that really cool P90 style loading. And it is just another great example of why 3D printing has forever changed this hobby. Because 3D printing allows for such rapid prototyping, it means we can crack out things like this super quickly. Back in the day where we were just using polycarbonate sheets and all this other stuff, it would have taken a lot more, you know, effort to make something that functions this way, which I think we could have done something like this with, you know, polycarbonate plates and all that, but 3D printing has certainly made it a whole lot easier. And 3D printing has also just made it so we can manufacture things that wouldn't easily be manufacturable in something like metal or whatever, because of the way the plastics lay down line by line, layer by layer. But let me know what you think down in the comments below about the Foam Hill SMG. I personally think it's really neat. I'm definitely going to have to print up some more of these mags so I can have a sort of a small loadout of them just to run for games and stuff, but before I do any of that, I'm definitely going to have to add a bit of a dart guide there. But since it's all 3D printed, it's really easy to design a part and knock that out in a few hours. And as always, big thanks to the patrons that are scrolling on the screen right now. Starting at $1 a month, you can help the channel out, get access to the patron-only Discord server, get access to sneak peeks at what I'm doing, and actually, you know, have some input on future videos. My patron Ronan asked me to kind of go over a little bit of the mechanism and everything. It was a little bit harder to do on this because of the order of operations you had to go with building this. I would have had to desolder some items and stuff to be able to fully take it apart again, but I do take patrons' thoughts into consideration. Big thanks for watching yet again, and as ever, my name is Valor. Thanks for watching.